Welcome back to the Home and Life Design Summit Season 3, where we are having amazing conversations with awakened leaders all over the world about embodying art and beauty to create more joy. I am your host, Fallon Jordan, and this is my cat Archer, and we are so excited to have Libby Robertson here. Thank you so much for being here, Libby.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. Such a blessing. And her full bio is below, but I just wanted to share a little bit about you. Libby is a mindset, energy, and strategy coach who specializes in empowering people to reach their full potential in life and business. And her husband founded Paradigm and the School of Spiritual Healing Arts. And they actually have several other projects that they work on. So you can like kind of learn more below. But I just really wanted to dive in and just really learned, like you were just sharing before we hit record, that you just moved. So you're like really in this like, whoa, like I get to like redo my house and like really figure out what I like and, have things shifted and changed. So I would love to hear just how that journey was for you with like the move and everything.
Yeah. So we're actually still in the same house, but so we moved, we were living in Bali for a couple of years. When we left corporate, I had this vision, as we all do, right? It's like our soul being like, here is something so fucking ridiculous, and your job is to say yes and bring it to life, right? So we're in corporate, had this vision of moving to Bali. It seemed so out of reach. But long story short, we ended up starting the business, quitting corporate. The business started to take off. We moved to Bali within, I think, all of this within like 9 or 10 months. And then when we were in Bali, we got the call to come back to New Zealand, which we now are. And we were driving around really in meditation and just asking the universe, like, where do you want us? Where are we meant to be? And so we received this vision of where we were meant to be in the country, and kind of just manifested everything that we'd written on our dream house list. And now we've been here 2.5 years, but the intention for this house was, it was a creation chamber. My husband and I, we're married, we're business partners. And then in this time, the team has grown. So we were having all our team meetings at our house. We'd converted the front lounge into our headquarters, into our office. But I know the more that we're scaling, I need more boundaries, and I need more, like, just more, more boundaries between the different areas of life. And it was a blessing in disguise, because I became unwell like a month ago, and I was just seeing where, in order for me to step into this new level as the CEO and being a leader and a guide and holding space for so many and stepping into the places that we're going, I need more and more boundaries, as we all do when we're growing. And so we manifested this office just down the road from our house, and then we moved our whole house around so that we've now got like a really beautiful living environment, and we can switch off, go to the office. I've also got a home office, which is where I am at the moment. And we've converted one of the bedrooms, but it's just so beautiful. I think when we are in tune with our own internal guidance system and what's required for us to bring our visions to life. And even though it doesn't make sense, it's like, okay, cool, we're doing this now. All right, now we're moving. Okay, now we're getting a new office. All right, now we're moving the whole house around. Now we're going to move here. We're going to change countries. It's like we get to constantly trust that guidance and that vision that's coming through us. So that's long story short.
I love that. That is so amazing. And I do have to ask, because it was one of the first things I noticed about you, and I've just been obsessing about your ink.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is so so long story short, again, I feel like this is going to be our whole conversation. This is really cool. I've got a wolf.
Just like, I've been literally obsessed with it since a few months ago, and I was like, I have to talk to Libby Robertson.
So this is a wolf, and this is eagle medicine, like eagle wings right here. I wanted them more abstract, and mandala, and there's a rose, and just I actually got this part in Canada, that little bit there. This is a devotion to my spiritual path, and I went through a shamanic apprenticeship when I realized that I have a background in psychology and also a history with addiction. And when I was going through my addiction healing, I got to a certain stage where I realized mindset can only get us so far. meditation can only really get us so far. Meditation's amazing, but I felt like I was just scratching the surface on my spiritual potential and my capacity to work with energy. So I found shamanism, and essentially this is like just my devotion and remembrance to my alignment. Wolf is one of my power animals that I work with, and so is eagle. And for me, it's a representation of source consciousness manifest in the physical or the energetic realm in a shamanic way.
Amazing. I love that so much for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's fun. It's great.
So I love your chair too. So like very much in like your art and your beauty. So I'll hear a little more about just like your relationship with art and like how that manifests in your life and in your business and just in your daily life.
So it's really interesting, and when I actually received your invitation for home, I saw the home part, and like I was sharing before we hopped on, I was like, oh, this sounds really fun. Like, yeah, I'll do this. Let's jump on. But for me, home has been the last place of art and expression for me. Like I've been a traveler my whole life. Growing up, I was never in one location for more than I think like 2 years or something. I think 4 years was the longest. And I'm 33 now, and I've lived in probably over 40, maybe 50 locations. Like I move all the time. So what that's meant is my art, first of all, it's within me and on me. Like I've got like beautiful artwork on my back. I've got, in the form of tattoos. And I always joke, I'm like, this is art that no matter where I'm going, I carry it with me. The mindset that I love to live with is that my life is my canvas. And so how I feel and the places and the spaces where I am, I feel like I bring the art, but also like, even though we've just moved into the space and I'm yet to decorate it, I've got some lilies right here, like these beautiful, I've got the fragrance and I can smell, like the sensory experience. I've got the beautiful outdoors. And for me, nature is such a powerful inspiration. This morning, I was walking on the beach, watching the sunrise. And I think if we can look at, for me, like I believe that if we can look at life like our canvas, we can tap into that power that's accessible to us all the time. Like, have you ever gone outside and looked at nature and not been inspired, right? Or like seeing a sunrise, like I feel so blessed that we live on this planet. And here in New Zealand it is stunning. Because whereabouts are you, Fallon? Where are you located?
In Atlanta, Georgia, in the
Oh
US.
my gosh,
Yeah.
amazing. I can't wait to visit this someday. That is so cool. And so, I mean, this planet is stunning, but I feel like for as long as I can remember, I remember having this huge amount of gratitude for being born in New Zealand, of all places. It was like past life memories, perhaps, of like, wait a minute, I get to live in New Zealand in this life and be a citizen. And travel has always been my inspiration. My first business was actually a travel business, or one of my first businesses was a travel business, because of the way that I feel that we come to life when we're looking at the art of creation, right? When we look at the world, when we see new places and cultures and taste new foods and have new experience. Like for me, this is what home and life is, and it's just that inspiration that I need, that helps me bring that into my message and my business and my work and life in general. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but that's what I wanted to come through.
So perfect. And that's what I love about everyone who's been sharing their amazing insight, is that it really is just those experiences that you allow yourself every day. I mean, starting your day with the sunrise, I mean, could you have like a more beautiful moment?
Right? So amazing. It'd be very hard not to be inspired. Although, mind you, I guess if I was in my addiction days, I would have been like, let's have some vodka in our cacao, some vodka in our coffee, sunrise. No, I'm just like turned on by life.
Well, I'm glad that you moved through that. And like, I mean, I wouldn't know that. Like, it's just an amazing part of your journey that got you to exactly where you are. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I love that so much. So clearly anyone who's watching like knows that you're on the exterior very beautiful and like all the different facets. what does beauty mean to you and how important it is to you? Like how much do you focus on that?
Oh, yes, such a good question. So I think for any one of us that's been on a spiritual journey, I mean, maybe not, but from my perspective, anyone that's gone on a spiritual journey, I think we stop focusing so much on the external beauty and we really start to focus on the internal beauty. And I mean, as a young girl, I was a tomboy, so I never really cared too much about beauty. And I remember being complimented. I was a ballet dancer as a child, so I remember being complimented for my legs, and I would kind of just be like, oh, that's nice, and but I never was into beauty like the mainstream kind of way. And having this having gone through this spiritual awakening and living in this way, I felt like I had to disconnect from anything to do with beauty, to be honest. I felt like I had to completely detach from anything to do with my external appearance. I had to let go of my attachment to people finding me attractive, which is where that's a place where I used to also, I'd feed off people, especially men. I'd feed off male attention, and I'd be like, oh, I'm beautiful. I can get what I want, and I'd use it from a very toxic feminine perspective and manipulation in this. So on my spiritual path, I had to disconnect from all that. But what I think is really cool now is I've just started coming back within, like, really understanding how magnificent it is to be human, first of all, but that when we come from a place of such deep self-love, not wanting to change anything because it's wrong, but wanting to enhance what's already within us, or what we already are. I think this is really fun, and I love to get my nails done. I love to do my makeup. I love to do my hair. You got your nails as well. I love it. What's this color mean for you? What is this color for you?
I just was really needing some like sacral stuff. And so I went in and I was like, I want the hottest, brightest orange that you got. And then I got red on my toes. It's like, I need to get grounded.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, I think when we feel good. I love fashion. I love use. I've always loved to dress well and just wear nice clothes, and I think I've always had that. Again, but apart from when I sold everything, I got rid of my entire like wardrobe and everything when we moved to Bali, and it was almost like starting from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think there's some really powerful things that come through when we acknowledge each other's beauty as well, and just witness one another in the absence of mainstream beauty, right? So not necessarily the makeup, but really addressing, like, I love your energy. Like, I love the beauty of your soul. I love the beauty of your inner radiance, and that shines through. And so of course externally you just radiate and you look amazing, but that's so much deeper than just, oh, nice hair, or I don't know. When I think about beauty, it feels so much deeper.
Well, I appreciate your kind words. It's so thoughtful. And yeah, when I think when you like kind of zoom out, because I think a lot of people are probably going through this while they're watching the interviews, like when you think about skincare, makeup, hair, all these markets that really you're just trying, they're not getting to the root, right? Like it's about what's inside. And like the more that you do this work and like honor your highest truths and, do the damn thing, like get the tattoo, like move to Bali, like do all the things, that's when you're going to be the most beautiful, because that essence is coming through. And I always am curious too about like even people who like read auras and stuff, like how is that going to change as we start really not even like we're not paying attention to like what the mainstream is like pressing as far as the agenda. Like we're really just focusing on our love for ourselves as the makeup or the product or whatever.
Exactly. And something, like, as you say, that's something I've been really thinking about lately I've thought about it my whole life. I'm very aware that we're here on this planet for a limited time. So I'm like, I want to make the most of this life. Like, there's so much I want to do and experience. But I'm also very aware that, as women, so much emphasis is put on our looks and on our beauty and on our youth. And I've really started thinking lately around, I've got massive, massive visions of massive goals and intentions of what I want to achieve. But I'm also thinking, well, how do I want to look? Like if I look back at photos of myself, I feel really sad sometimes that I didn't like how I looked back then. And also that I wish I'd taken better care of myself as well, especially when I went through all those years of self abuse. And now I think about, okay, well, how do I want to look when I'm 60 or 70 or 80? Like, imagine if I was super hot when I'm 80 or 90 and I'm like super active and just stunning. Like, what does that look like? And I have this very work backwards. And so, nutrition, lots of exercise, really good quality water. Like, I'm really conscious of these things now, more from a like human potential, like what's actually our potential as women with our beauty, with our magnificence and our magic, and how can we experience more of that? So it's kind of the approach.
100%. And I love that you said that because there's a very like big age range of like all the people that are participating and speaking and everything. And, but I know in my mind, like I can see like we're going to look very similar like 30, 40, 50 years from now because we're all doing this work.
Yes, yes. Yeah, what do you see like having these conversations? What's the mindset that you're seeing more and more of it coming through in the last couple of months or years?
Well, I love what you said about life as a canvas. That's come through a lot. And that's been really beautiful. And then for me, it's really just like you said, honoring being a human, honoring being a woman on this planet. Like you're in what I consider one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I'm sure most people agree. And it's like, we're literally here. We have the ground and then the core and like all the feminine power there. But then we also have the sun and we can be in the sun and appreciating Mother Earth and all of its facets versus now where the agenda is like, you know, the sun is scary, the sun is gonna kill you, and like being outside isn't that big of a deal. Like there's things out there that are hurting you, and it's like we really get back to the basics of just being on this planet and being grateful for the resources that we have. It's just really crazy between the sun and then just grounding or like what I think are going to be the new normal everyday medicine practices versus right now it's still a lot of people don't understand it.
Yeah, which is wild, right? Like it seems like the more that we expand and evolve as a species, the more that we just have to remember to come back to basics. Actually, this is I was a vegan and vegetarian for a long time, and recently, a year ago, I went back to eating meat, and it's almost like the more again with boundaries and where I'm going, I'm like, okay, how can I take my health to the next level? And I went vegan because I thought that was the best thing for my health, and it was at the time. But I'm like, now I'm eating meat, and I did a sacred ceremony around this, and it was my ancestors showing me how we should be in such deep reverence for life, yes, and working with the resources that are on this planet. But also the more that I see everyone evolving and the more that I'm coming back to basics as well. Sunlight in the morning, first thing before any unnatural lights, basic food, like really, really simple, nourishing foods, and feed on the earth. Like so simple. And water.
Exactly. It's so crazy that it seems so simple, but yeah, I definitely feel like a lot of us are there and it's going to just continue just getting much more normalized. And especially, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening too who had that journey with like, I don't know if I should be eating animal meat. And then they go through this journey and it's all about just like love and gratitude, appreciation, and always having like the intention of love, right? Like there's definitely a lot of not good energy in meat and skincare and TV and
Yeah. So what you can, the quality of everything is like the quality of what we consume, I believe, is such a dictator of the quality of our life, from our meat, from our the clothes that we wear, the things that we put our money into, the decisions that we're making, the TV shows or anything that we're consuming, music that we're consuming. It's like quality. Quality is key. Quality is queen.
I love that. Quality's queen. I love that so much. So I have a question because I know a lot of this has come up with almost every one of our speakers, and I'm sure the people are listening were like me, I was just a few months ago. It's like, how did you know to make that jump when you were like, I have to do this? Like, did you have whispers and then the 2x4 from spirit, or like, what was that like?
That going into business.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So for I'd always known I would start my business, like even before I had the idea of what my business would be. I remember sitting down with my girlfriends one day and being like, I'm going to be the best boss and be the best company to work for when I've got a company. I'm like, I don't even know what the company is going to be, but I just know that I'm going to be an epic boss. And through my addiction recovery, I knew that I wanted to share it with people. So it was very like organic to start with. And then it was, yeah, when I got the vision for Bali, I became obsessed with getting to Bali and I didn't know why. And it was just like all of a sudden, when you're in the matrix and then all of a sudden you can't unsee what you've just seen with your soul. And so I remember commuting to work and looking around on the motorway, and it was just like zombie after zombie after zombie in the cars. And I said to Dane one day, my husband, I was like, I, I can't do this much longer. Like, I don't want to go to work anymore. I can't do this. I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this. I'd cry on my way home from work. And I was like, what am I going to do, universe? Like, help, help. I can't do this much longer. Meanwhile, I'm obsessed with Bali. I know that there's something that I've got to do. And then pretty much as soon as I put myself out there and had the courage to share my story online and create an Instagram page and tell everyone what I'd just been navigating for the last 2.5 years that no one that knew me would have ever known about. Like very, very vulnerable, showing up. It was like the new clients started coming in, or not, they weren't even clients because they weren't even paying. They're just like, can you help me? I'm like, yeah, I can help you. And that was how my coaching business started. So it was very much like the vision was so strong. I knew I had to get to Bali and I had no idea how. And the pain of staying in corporate and in a job that wasn't for me, I literally fell, and you'll crack up. I all of a sudden one day, I was standing in front of a classroom teaching. This was in my corporate job. I was managing a team and I was also teaching some students and mentoring them. And I remember standing in front of them crying. They asked me a question. I just burst into tears. I'm like, guys, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm sorry that I hadn't done their mentoring sessions yet because I just had a massive workload, as you do in corporate. And I just said, like, I am so sorry that I haven't got around to that yet. But as I'm standing there in front of them, telling them this, I'm receiving this full like fuck yes in my, it was scary as anything. It was like this full fuck yes in my body, knowing that holy shit, this is the moment that I was waiting for, to know that I need to quit corporate. I didn't have any paying clients yet. I didn't like really have a business. I had no idea how I was going to do the business. I just knew that I had to leave. And so I typed up that night. I went home convinced. I said to my husband, I was like, I can't, like, you've seen how much pain I've been in. I can't keep going. Yeah, I need to quit. He's like, we can't quit. What about the mortgage? Like, we've got a mortgage. You can't just quit. I'm like, what am I going to do? Went home, typed up a letter of resignation, and I also typed up a letter of stepping down out of my management position. I couldn't even write that one. All that flowed was the letter of resignation. Walked into my boss's office the next day, told him that I quit and never went back. And that was it. So I don't know, 2x4, big combination.
Sharing that story, I know a lot of people are feeling that because I felt that very intensely. I felt like I was gonna like cry, but also like jump up and down celebrating. Like,
Yeah.
so I want to make sure before we go that everyone knows about your amazing free gift.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is going to be so amazing for everyone because, as we know, when we're stepping into business and we want to take things to the next level, we got to learn how to make money, and not just from the strategy or how, like, yeah, the strategy is important, but more so from the energetic perspective and just the deep healing that can take place, or that is required for most of us to be able to feel safe to receive payment for our soul work and our soul gifts. So I've created this really beautiful meditation guided healing experience. It's called Elevate Your Money State. It's really cool. When I've created it, I think we just received I think I just started having multi five-figure months. Had my first six-figure year, and now we're just about to cross our first million in total in the last 4.5 years, which is exciting. So the work works. It's just like if you keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, you'll feel your capacity to be able to receive more money start to expand. You just got to do the work and show up. Don't do it once, keep doing it. But it's called, yeah, Elevate Your Money State. It's amazing. I'm excited for you to experience it and
Oh,
reach out and know how it goes when you've done it.
I cannot wait, and we can all do it together. You can just click below to access that and also to get into Libby's beautiful world and the beautiful world with her husband, as they do a lot of co-creating together in their business. But I just want to honor you and love you for being here with us and sharing your story and just being yourself and living your soul mission. Like, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Fallon. Thank you so much for this beautiful space. And I'm sending you all the vibes for this beautiful creation that you've birthed and all the other conversations that are taking place. And thank you for everyone for listening as well. It's been really beautiful to share this space with you.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Libby. Thank you, everyone who's here. I look forward to seeing everyone in the next conversation. And yeah, we're literally sending you love from two different parts in the world. So pretty cool.